Yo, mic check 1 2 and 2 is definitely going down in a major way, man. Y'all know how we do it, man. It's the one and only man. It's the kid they call X to the P, man. We are back at you guys with another special broadcast. This is VisiCom Media, man. I got some special guests in the building. I'm gonna start by letting my panel introduce themselves, and this is a special broadcast honoring the Black Music Honors, and we're celebrating all things Black music, and we're talking about the music in Hollywood and how it's trying to survive during COVID, right? So I'm gonna let my panel introduce themselves, starting from my immediate left and work my way down to the right. Here we go. Introduce yourself, panel.
Of the culture.
Let it up. What real estate company?
Remax on point.
Is it on point?
I'm on point.
Host of Justice, Java, and Jazz in the house, and the house is packed.
Yep, and it's only right that I brought my super panel with me to discuss all things Black music. Honoring y'all, man. Stay tuned to what we're doing. We got exclusive interviews with Tweet, Deborah Cox. We got one of the gospel legends, Mr. Marvin Sapp. We also got Major. This is Why I Love You. Y'all know that song. That's the wedding anthem.
I love you.
Also, we got Mr. Don Jackson, who is the founder and CEO of Central City Productions. And it's going to be a good look, y'all. So we going in. So, you know, we all know 2020 has been a very trying and difficult year. And it's also been a clever year, I will say, you know, with the whole music industry in Hollywood basically shutting down. It forced the music industry to get very creative. Yeah. And I must, every time I do one of these special broadcasts, I must give shout outs to all the IT and the video producers and the engineers behind the scenes, because these productions yield such great productions. The things they're able to do during this COVID pandemic has been nothing short of amazing. And when you look at legendary groups like Vogue, who is one of the top 5 all-time selling female groups in the history of the music business. When you look at folks like Tweet, Deborah Cox, who just dominated in the 90s, and you look at people like gospel greats and legends such as Fred Hammond and Marvin Sapp, who had the legendary group Commission, but went on to have, you know, exceptional solo careers. It's a great time in music. So I want to ask my panel, you know, how has Black music touched your life, and what effects does it have on you right now during this COVID? What is your go-to song or that helps you deal with this pandemic?
I'll go first on that. If I tell you my go-to song, will you play it during the next commercial break?
I will try my best.
During this pandemic, what has touched me with Black music during this time is the same way Black music has affected me throughout all of my life. It carries me emotionally and I believe spiritually.
Right.
And right now during this pandemic, I have been longing for some I guess joy, cheerfulness, or whatever, because you've been going along and getting along like, you know, everything is everything, but really inside you feel the stress mounting and building up, as I'm sure everybody does, you know, because you don't know what's around the corner, what's coming. And I've been so looking forward to soulful Christmas music. It's been a tradition of mine since I was a baby. My mama, that's how my mama did it, and it's just a time clock within me. On Thanksgiving night, you set up the Christmas tree and you begin. It's okay to play Christmas music. I was wanting to play it and listen to it prior to then, but I held off because that's the way it's supposed to be done. But the reason I wanted it before then is because of the pandemic, and it's time for a mood change and a mood shift, and that's how Black people has always utilized emotions and mood through music.
Right.
And that's what I did. And my go-to song is, believe it or not, Little Drummer Boy by, not just Little Drummer Boy, but Lou Rawls' version of Little Drummer Boy. It's one of the funkiest things. It's called Little Drummer Boy, but ironically, his horns in there are killing. Right. So, yeah, check it out, Lou Rawls' version.
I like that.
Yeah. Now, mine is gospel right now. Because that's what I wake up to in the morning, and that's what I go to bed at night listening to.
Hallelujah.
Won't he do it? I say I will. Hey, fight your battle. Hey, sleep at night.
But no, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Good.
For me, lately, I'll be honest, and back to what you said too, XP, like just about how with music and how it's gotten us through the times. And, growing up, I know my grandma's house, I always say this was the cafe house. So I heard music from my daughter's age.
That's why you always know all those old songs.
Yeah, because I know the words to every song. I don't know who the artist is, but I know the words. And so
I mean, that's Saturday morning retro. I mean, you get up, mama clean house, listen to blues.
Yeah.
I mean,
and smell the bleach and smell the bleach and the pine sol. Right. But during the quarantine and all that stuff, I honestly have embraced more local music artists, believe it or not. And of course, with doing the hype up, the show, that's even made me even more indulgent into that. And
hype it up.
Yeah, hype it up. Hey. But
shout out to Vincent Price.
Yes, oh my God.
Damn in 5 video,
yes. Yes. Vincent was awesome. And, again, Vincent Price, when you have, we had a couple others that came on.
Not the Thriller dude, but yeah. Local upcoming artists, fine.
Yes, absolutely. We have so many others that are going to come on the show. So, I've been gravitating towards that because during this time, they're being very creative. And this is their time to shine because it's an opportunity for them. And so I've been looking at that and have some great shows and have some great guests coming in. And Jay Buck, oh my gosh, I can't wait. Hopefully you're hearing this, watching this.
Let me know.
Yes, awesome entertainers. I mean, we have so much, and that's all. I annihilated that question, my bad, but I had to go there.
That's all good because when you think about groups like In Vogue, when you think about these incredible artists that's a part of this year's Black Music Honors, I'm quite sure all of us that's on the ground level as indie artists have been influenced by these artists and been influenced by their music. I remember, first hearing In Vogue, and one of my favorite songs is Hold On. You gotta hold on. And if you listen, I'm a music producer, so if you listen to that track, you can hear James Brown samples in there. But the song is just so funky, and it's like, man, to hear those vocals on top of that, it's like, man, I knew from the first time of hearing In Vogue, I knew that In Vogue was just going to be a big hit.
Why did y'all think Hold On right off, and I thought Never Gonna Get It?
Ooh, my first mistake was I wanted you so much. I had to have you more than
go ahead on with it. Just gonna let them go unchecked with that.
What's it gonna be?
Man. and the list goes on. And, just to remind you guys that In Vogue is one of the top 5 female groups of all time. And that's a pretty big deal. I
mean, they were always sassy, classy. Yeah, I mean, elegant.
They were savages.
Yeah, they are pioneers of savagery.
Yeah, they were people that you look up to. I mean, you felt their music. You understood their music. You probably been through what they're singing about.
So it was really no surprise that In Vogue received the Urban Icon Award, right? I mean, they are icons. I mean, legendary group. I think one of my favorite moments of In Vogue is when they were on A Different World. I don't know if y'all got a chance to check that episode. But Ron and Mr. Gaines had opened up a club. I think the name of the place was A Place Where the Blues Will Be Played. I think that was the name of the club. But they ended up doing a guest appearance on there, and it was just, man, like, that's They remind me of like the female version of like Boys and Men.
Their harmonies are amazing.
Man,
Ooh.
unmatched.
They be getting it. I be like, yes, girl.
And
Say it again.
so the 90s was just, to me, was all about the R&B, right? R&B was just like it's just a good time for music. And we can't talk about the 90s without talking about Deborah Cox, right?
Right.
Yay.
How did you get there? Nobody's
Can't
supposed
be
to
free.
be.
Nobody's supposed to.
How
Don't let me.
did you get here? Hey.
Nobody's supposed to be
You
here.
just gonna let them carry on.
I know.
I tried that love thing for the last time.
Okay. We done.
Ain't no harmony.
That's why I don't
Yeah.
sing. I rap. I'll leave it at that.
So Deborah Cox received.
Y'all really should sing solo.
Yeah.
They
Come on, can nobody hear you?
Or 10 or,
Right.
Yeah.
10 or 12
Bass.
miles away.
Good one.
Yeah, I never heard that one.
So Deborah Cox received the Entertainer Icon Award, and again, well deserved. She's on Broadway, and she's doing a thing too in that regard. And you know, it's good when we can get together and honor us. So we're gonna go and check out some exclusive interviews with Tweet and Deborah Cox. And so after that, we'll be right back. Now, these interviews, I want to let y'all know that, and I love this about how the music entertainment chose to handle it. Though it's a pandemic, you know, normally when there's award shows, there are red carpets and you invite media out. But since COVID, everything was done online. It was done via like Zoom or whatever streaming platform that they choose to use. So just imagine, not all media could actually get in to ask questions, right, or to get on camera. But what I love and appreciate about the way they're doing this, that though you wasn't able to, per se, ask the question, you were still able to get the media coverage. So we're going to go into some interviews right now. It's with Tweet and Deborah Cox, and they're going to be different media platforms, and they're going to say who they are. And remember, at the end of the day, we're just all one big media family working together. So we'll be right back in just a few moments. Y'all stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Well, good morning to everyone on the West Coast, and good afternoon to our East Coast friends, and welcome to today's Black Music Honors virtual press conference. Black Music Honors is an annual 2-hour event that acknowledges the legendary African-American artists who've influenced and made significant musical contributions to African-American culture and to American music worldwide. It's produced by a Chicago-based production company, Central City Productions, and will be hosted by Ricky Smiley. We're going to start with two of the talented women who are going to be featured in this year's show. One is an honoree, the other a performer. We'll start with our performer, who is neo soul singer-songwriter Tweet. She started her career back in '94, has gone on to work with some of the biggest names in the business, including Whitney Houston, Madonna, Ja Rule, and Mark Ronson. But she's a respected solo artist and songwriter as well. Missy Elliott gave her a platform to show off her talents in 2002 with her biggest international hit, Oops, Oh My. And her latest single, released this summer, is called Never Felt This Way. She will be performing at the Black Music Honors this year, and we're delighted to have her with us. Hi, Tweet.
Hello, everybody.
We've also got one of our honorees, and she is someone who is well loved by everyone in the industry. She's a Grammy Award-winning singer, an actress, and a Broadway star. She will receive the Entertainer Icon Award this year. Deborah Cox, discovered by Arista Records' Clive Davis while she was singing background vocals for Celine Dion. Her hit single, Nobody's Supposed to Be Here, broke records atop the charts. And her diverse talents have led her to success in virtually every aspect of the business. She has done it all: recording, touring, acting, singing for movie soundtracks, and plus she's been critically acclaimed for her work on the Broadway stage. Deborah is celebrating her 25th year in the business by releasing her upcoming 7th studio album coming out next year. I believe she has a Christmas single, which will be out soon. We'll ask her about that as well. She's a worthy choice to receive the Black Music Honors Entertainer Icon Award, Miss Deborah Cox. It's great to see you.
Thanks so much. Good to see you all.
Let's start with you, Deborah. Just how did you find out that you were being honored, and what does it mean to you to receive this award?
I found out through the Black Honors team. Black Music Honors team, and I was overwhelmed with gratitude because as an artist, you know, many a times we are just laser focused on our careers. We're touring, we're doing this, we're doing so many things, and for me, I've always been I've always been on the grind. So because of the pandemic and taking a real pause, it's allowed me to really reflect on, you know, everything that I've done in music and in my career. And when you say 25 years, it seems strange. It doesn't seem that long, but at the same time, it does seem that long. But I'm extremely, I have a lot of gratitude in my heart just for the fans, for the people, for the committee that nominated me at this time. And it really makes me feel like I have staying power, that it's going to contribute something to my legacy. And I feel like it's giving me, like, it's solidifying my place in history, you know, so it's a great honor.
Yeah, well deserved, as we said. And for you, Tweet, everybody is so excited about seeing you, that you're going to be performing. How does it feel to be invited as one of the featured performers this year?
I was definitely honored to be invited. You know, sometimes as artists, we feel out of sight, out of mind, and people forget. But to have that platform to come and perform for such a, you know, for Black Music Honors was just amazing to me, you know. And I had a wonderful time. Everything was awesome. Everybody that I worked with when I performed was great. So it was just exciting for me, you know, just honored.
Deborah mentioned the pandemic, and I'd like to ask both of you about this, how this has been impacted.
And just like that, we are back. Mic check 1 2 1 2 is definitely going down in a major way, man. Y'all know how we do it, man. It's the Kid XP, man. I got my super panel with me today, and we're talking all things Black Music Honors. And I want to let you guys know that it did air November the 21st, but it's in syndication nationwide
until December
13th. I want to give a big shout out to everybody that played a part in making this happen, right? You know, speaking of myself as an artist, as a producer, as a writer, to see productions that's for us, that's by us, is a beautiful, wonderful thing. It's motivation that, you know, you can achieve your dreams. So I want to shift a little bit, and let's talk about Tweet, right? Tweet is a phenomenal artist. First got her start with Missy and Timbaland. And one thing I love about Tweet is just an overall great singer. And I know for her, it's like hooking up with Missy and Tim. They have such an unorthodox sound. And to hear that unorthodox sound mixed with her soulful voice just produced great music. I mean, the list can go on of Tweet songs. And she's a great writer. And I think if you get a chance to listen, go and listen to some of her other albums that's not necessarily Timbaland and Missy produced. Man, some amazing songs. There's a song that my wife played, and it reminds you of a country song. And I guess this song is kind of like speaking from a perspective like, if I had a chance to get you back. And you don't normally typically hear a woman write from that perspective, right? It's usually like, the dude's usually the one mess up in the song, and there's never no really vulnerability in the song. But she laid it bare out in this song. And I got to get the name of that song. But just Google Tweet on YouTube. I'm sure you can find it. But it's got a live band with it. And I'm telling you, it's some good old good country music.
And it's country.
Did she intend for it to be country?
Hey, I'm quite sure she did. Okay. The song is it's amazing. It's amazing.
I'm a fan of some country myself. I'm a fan of country music. That's not in it everything, but there's some country music I really enjoy. It tells us one of the few genres left that actually try to tell a story, and I can appreciate that.
And I'm quite sure Tweet did a good job at that, because, ooh, there goes my shirt over my head.
So you just going to go back to the Tweet song that you like.
Yeah, I do.
Right.
I mean, because that's the only song that,
It's visual, it's vivid. I can see
it's very
somebody take their shirt off. Right. Just saying.
Now, during this whole COVID time, you know, it was often said that we need just a little bit more Jesus to help us along the way. And, you know, me being a Detroit native, I got to give it up for another Detroit native, my big homie, Fred Hammond, who's now down in Texas. But Fred Hammond, man, when you think about gospel music, you can't dare talk about gospel music without bringing up Fred Hammond. First of all, the legendary group Living Legends Commission. And you got to be sleeping up under a rock if you never heard of Commission, right? Commission is one of those groups, in my opinion, that changed the sound of gospel music. If you think about, even as R&B today, like a Joe DeCia or any of them cats, you got to go back to mind Commission. Even though Commission was singing gospel, their music was so way ahead of its time, out the box. And Fred Hammond has just been delivering hit after hit after hit after hit. So it was no surprise, you know, when they decided to honor Fred Hammond this year. And also his group mate who has an outstanding solo career, Marvin Sapp. And everybody know Marvin Sapp from the hits. Never would have made it. Man, that song. You know, it's rare moments in gospel music where a song like that can cross over from the gospel into what we consider the secular music, right?
Yeah, because me, myself, as a heathen, that's like one of my favorite songs.
Really, heathen?
Yeah. I mean, even on the heathenistic level, I enjoy that one. So that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's a song of encouragement, and I think, you know, right now with everything going on with the pandemic, it's a song that will help you get through some rough days.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Especially with this pandemic.
Yeah.
I listen to it as soon as the pandemic is over. Make sure I make it first. Because with this stimulus hold up, they're trying to push back at a brother.
So let me ask you guys a question. So what do you think the future of music is going to be heading into a new president or heading into a new year? How does that look after the music industry, you know, / Hollywood has, for the most part, been off for an entire year? Wow.
But you know what? I definitely, just looking at the industry, you know, with a microscope these days and with magnifying glass, I do notice that they're getting very creative. They have to get very creative. You know, even with your other media outlets, you know, who are covering certain things. They're, you know, we're all adapting. We're doing a really good job at adapting. If they can just figure out how to monetize this thing and make it work for us, and we can continue to receive the music. But being virtual and digital, I think, has really been a blessing, and it's great that BET Honors has been able to, you know, pull this off. You know, be able to utilize the resources and pull that thing together. So kudos and shout out
to Bounce TV,
because they're collaborating now. They're doing those battles and verses.
Yeah.
So I mean, that has been very entertaining.
It has. You know, I think one of the greatest so far has been Monica and Brandy, and I say that because, and I know this is probably going to stir a little controversy, but it got to be said, right? I think both of them are exceptional artists, and I got to give a big, huge shout out to Brandy and Monica. Brandy shut it down at this year's Soul Train Awards. I couldn't dare not say nothing about that. She has an amazing voice live. And Monica just got honored, too, with the Lady of Soul Award, and very deserving of it. But one thing we said on the show is that these versus battles show you, like, some of these folks were actually the bomb during their time, and some was a lot of media hype.
Right.
And so
the versus battle exposes that. If you were media hype, you get to see it during this battle.
Right.
Because a lot of we look forward to the battle, but when we watch it, we realize radio sold us that more than they were really good.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So that's going to be very interesting to see that, to see how the entertainment is shaped, you know, as a result of that.
I believe actually what's going to look more, I think everybody's being creative for sure, as Kiki said. Everybody's being very creative. But I think one of the things that's going to show the quickest is the movie industry. right? I think the movie industry that won't ever look the same again. I think streaming has it was already coming along, but this is just catapulted into the place where it should be. I don't know if theaters would ever look the same again after this, right? Yeah. So that will be interesting. But the music industry with the creativity of the artist, and when you're already creative to be an artist like that, right? And so this is just added another level to it for everybody, especially independent artists, having to get yourself out there, push your own thing, and do your thing.
Because it's more of singing now instead of entertaining. You're not able to get up and dance and all that.
And things like that, right? Yeah. So
so that live audience experience won't be as great. But the only thing is now you can at least there is a way to still do it. And like even with most major shows have been doing now, they've been setting up the stage and this audienceless, crowd of people. There's no audience there, but the pyros there, the techniques, all those things, and they're still got dancers and lights.
Right, and that's interesting too, without the audience to feed off of.
I mean that shows what kind of ability you really have to perform as a performer. Like it's easier to perform when you got a crowd of thousands hollering and screaming for you.
Up,
it puts your adrenaline. But when you're
you gotta drive that yourself.
Right. Well, I'm gonna tell you what it's almost like. For many artists, it's gonna take you back to when you were an indie artist and you were on the come up, and you would go to shows and nobody knew your songs and they was just staring at you. Performing to an empty audience is almost taking you back to your humbling days of beginning.
Right.
That's a really
because for most artists like myself, when you were coming up in the game, you were at open mics performing to other artists, and of course other artists they're trying to sell their music, so they're basically just looking at you like, well, what are you doing here? So I think it's gonna push to make better artists performing wise.
Right.
Like if you in there, like I saw a live concert that Fantasia did on streaming online, and when I tell you they was in there rocking, wasn't nobody in the audience, but they were going so hard. I said this is what this pandemic is gonna do for artists. It's gonna push greatness out of you.
Yep. The love for what you're doing and the love for your craft.
Yeah, the
passion.
Right.
That's gonna show up. Yeah.
So we got some more interviews, and as I'm looking, scheming my notes, you got Brian Courtney Wilson and Marvin Sapp doing a tribute to Fred Hammond, and so we're gonna go to some more interviews, and the person that is heading up the interviews her name is Pat Prescott. For those who don't know, she's a media personality, and we'll be right back right after these interviews. Thank y'all for tuning in, and best thing you can do to support Black media without costing you a dime is to like, subscribe, and share. Tell a friend about it. We'll be right back in just a few moments.
All right, we're going to continue right now. I want to introduce you to the next artists who we will be speaking to. And I believe two of them are with us so far, right? We have Major and we have Bishop Sapp, right? And we will be joined in a few moments, I do believe, by Fred Hammond, Brian Courtney Wilson, and Don Jackson will also be joining us. But let me just tell you a little bit about Major, who is one of the favorites, not just by fans, but also by other artists. So well loved and well respected. He debuted back in 2016 with the chart-topping hit "Why I Love You," with over 100 million views on YouTube. And a strong climb up the charts. This song really proved to be the beginning of a fast-growing career. It has made him one of the most talked about and one of the most exciting performers in music today. And he's just adorable, just a sweetheart. We're so happy to have Major with us today and also on Black Music Honors. Thank you for being here.
I'm honored, Queen Pat Prescott.
And we've got music royalty with us today. Absolutely thrilled that one of our featured performers this year is pastor, singer, songwriter, Bishop Marvin Sapp. He's been ministering to the people and serving the Lord as a leader since 2003 when he started Lighthouse Full Life Center in Grand Rapids, Michigan. His ministry has spread around the world. His latest project is called Chosen Vessel. And we are delighted to have you with us today, Marvin. How are you?
I'm great, Pat. How about yourself?
Just fantastic. We are also pleased to have someone with us today who really we could not do this show without. Don Jackson is the founder and chairman of Stellar TV Network. His Chicago-based Central City Productions has produced, marketed, and syndicated television shows for nearly a half century, with many of his shows becoming bedrock programming for African Americans. In addition to his work with the faith-based Stellar TV Network of Gospel Music, Don is also developing the $37 million National Museum of Gospel Music. And we're especially happy to have him with us today because he's running this thing, producing these awards for us. Don, thank you so much for being here and for the work that you do.
My pleasure, my pleasure.
And finally, we have Brian Courtney Wilson. Brian is a multiple Stellar Award winner, a GM Dove Award winner, and ASCAP Rhythm and Soul winner. He has released 5 albums and is a modern gospel messenger. He's going to be bringing his talent and energy as a performer for this year's Black Music Honors. So we welcome you, Brian. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you, Ms. Prescott. Thank you. Hello to everybody.
All right, so I guess we should go around because we want to, as quickly as we can, open the floor because I know a lot of people have questions for you guys. But I'm interested in how you feel about being a part of the Black Music Honors. What does this mean to you?
It's an honor. It's an honor to be able to rise up in the seat to bring more spotlight and highlight to a culture that has been probably the leading contributor to what we know as American history, and the diaspora being a leading contributor to what we know as world history. You know, they often, as you know, Tweet said earlier, she was saying that the question was posed, what more would we like for, you know, white communities to know about our Black community? And she says they already know, and they do. They do. They, you know, it's been often said they want our rhythm, but not our blues. We come from a strong journey, a crazy, intense journey where we have overcome, and we sing through it. We make music, we create from that place. And that's the lasting stuff that has been the stamp and the very blueprint of what this country is founded on. So when we say great again, let's go to that greatness.
I forget who to attribute this quote to, but I used to hear it all the time. They said, honor up, honor down, honor all around. And so when I think about Black Music Honors and this opportunity we've been given to honor each other, I think it makes the whole world great and better when we have this opportunity to ascribe value and worth to one another unapologetically, after contending for it and finding the resources to do it. And like Major just said, so the whole world can see that, man, it's worth honoring. It's worth honoring. And I think when you do that, I think, well, prayerfully, other people can see how to honor themselves too, and how to find honor in other things too. And so that's why it's important to me to be a part of this.
Can I say something to that as well, real quick? One thing that I have noticed, and this is both the Stellars, this is Black Music Honors, it moves in excellence. So just like Brian was saying, it's showing us how to honor each other. This is one, I'm always appreciative of the invitation to be a part of this production because I know it's going to be done well. And I'm always proud to re-show it, you know, because I know it's going to be done well. And that's the excellence that I believe gets overlooked in our community. We understand that we have to work often twice or 3 times as hard to deliver what other people have delivered and it to be accepted as the same. Without fail, this production has always done that. So salute. Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Bishop Sapp, I want to go to you next to ask you about this. I know you've been to and received many awards, and I please just allow me to take a moment to tell you how much your music has meant to me and my family, how much healing it has brought us, and just what an honor it is to be able to speak to you today. But tell us a little bit about what it feels like for you to be a part of Black Music Honors.
Well, I mean, let me first start off by saying thank you so much. You're so kind. It's always, to me, a privilege to have the opportunity to be able to share to the masses, you know, what we have perfected, what we have done for years. And even though, our particular hue, we don't get the respect that we deserve. I'm glad that we are in a season, in a space, in a place where we can honor ourselves, and I think that that's what this is. That's why this is so important to me, because so many times we try to look for honor and validation, outside of our own people. And the fact that we have created our own situation and said, well, if you won't honor us, we'll honor ourselves, because we recognize that the majority of, if not all of, what is being listened to in our nation has been ripped off, stolen from, and or replicated from us as African Americans. So the fact that I have the opportunity to be a part of this, this is my first time, and I'm without question ecstatically excited because I get the opportunity to be a part of an event where I can honor those who work alongside of me and who have done great things in this industry, who might not normally get recognized for it.
That is quite true. And as something that Major alluded to a moment ago, not only is this our awards, but it is a first class award show. And I want to talk to Don a little bit about that aspect of it, because the job that you do of putting this together is incredible, even with the challenges this year of doing it virtually. I want you to talk a little bit, Don, about the production and what it means to you to be able to put this on.
Well, this is not my first room.
All right, y'all, we are back. Just like that, mic check 1 2 1 2 is definitely going down in a major way. A lot of great things said in those interviews, and as she said, man, something that was said in the interviews that makes a lot of sense. When you are a gospel artist or just an artist as a black entertainer in general, you tend to have to work 10 times harder, and it's always, a positive result in the end when you work hard, and great content, and it's always good, to be recognized for your hard work. And I think sometimes we need to hear that, like, hey man, you're doing a good job, pat on the back. It makes you grind and work harder. And so super excited about the Black Honors and how great it was. I know when Outside fully opens back up, I know it's going to come back even bigger and better. So for those out there, my listening audience, check your local listings. The show is airing in national syndication from November 21st through December the 13th. Shout out to Bounce TV. Shout out to Black Music Honors and all that is done honoring in Vogue Deborah Cox and my big homie Fred Hammond, straight from the D.
You are the living word.
Man, that's a powerful song right there.
Yeah.
I mean, several songs. Jesus be a fence.
Oh, that's my jam.
We're blessed in the city.
We're blessed in the city.
They that wait on the Lord. I can go down the list.
Oh man, I'm telling you.
Hey, we can have service right now and work it on out.
Okay, for real.
I need to bring a little organ and set it up.
Okay.
For future references. Future references.
Well, you gotta play the music, because if you just play it, we're gonna sing. Well, sing, because we can't sing.
I got keyboard out the car. Maybe take a commercial break now. I'm gonna send it up.
Y'all sang and I dance. I done danced to so many Fred Hammond songs.
Don't get me started. But I would just like to say, man, thank you guys, man, for sitting in with me. There's been some great dialogue, and I actually, every time we do these special broadcasts for different award shows, the last one me and Brother Jet did was the Soul Train, and now we had the honor of doing the Black Music Honors. And this is what I want to say to anybody that's listening. It's important that you support black media, right? And not just the names that you know, the names that you recognize, the big blog sites, all media, because we are one big machine pushing to push a movement, right? Even beyond the music, there are a lot of political and social issues that affect us, and our people have been affected the most during this pandemic, and it's important that we're able to deliver information to our people that will affect our people, right? And though it's great music, but when the record stops, when the music is no longer playing, there's real issues that need addressing, right? And so I feel in my heart that media is the key. You know, whether it's broadcast, whether it's radio, whether it's music, television, movies, podcasts, it's all important, right? And so it's one big family, one big machine making it work. Ain't that right, Brother J?
Yes, sir. One big machine making it work, making it do what it do. And as XP said, just support black media. Find black media. Make it a point to support black media.
Yes.
Give us the opportunities. Give us the shout outs as the Black Music Honors has done tonight. Give us the opportunity to show and prove. I know you don't want to throw bones to any and everybody, but there are some things you can do to seek out and actively make black media stronger so we can be responsible for and tell our own stories. If you look at us and view us as not big enough for your platform, well, if you support, we will become big enough for your platform. And if we're big enough, then we are here when you need black media as your voice.
Yes, sir.
So right now it's where the building happens. It's where we do the work. Right. So
freedom of speech, baby. Freedom of speech. You
yeah.
know? Yeah.
So with that being said, man, make sure you check your local listings, Bounce TV. And as we say, that the black...
Before we sign off, though, you want to hear from Emily and Kiki?
I do.
Where we can find them? Where we can hear them? Are we talking about supporting black media?
Yes.
Doing that thing,
sure.
so...
Absolutely.
Yes. I mean, like Tony said before, just make sure that you like, share, comment, and subscribe to all of our social media platform. You can find me on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram at Realtor Emily J, Coach Emily J, and also you can find me on Nerds for the Culture.
Awesome. All right. And again, I'm your girl, Kiki Chameleon. You can find me on Instagram at Kiki, that's KIKI _ Chameleon with a K, KHAMELEON. And also on Facebook as well for my artist fan page. Kiki Chameleon.
Yes, sir.